I am back with part 2 of day 1 of the elementary school shooting trial. If you have not been following the case, I'm going to give you a recap. As always, please, major trigger warning. This is Dr. Ebony Parker. She was the assistant principal at Rich Neck Elementary in Newport News, Virginia in 2023 when a 6-year-old in first grade shot his first grade teacher. Why is she being criminally tried? Because according to the state, she was told by multiple faculty members that the child possibly had a gun in his backpack. When they checked the backpack, they realized he didn't have it there. However, he did have it in his pocket. She did absolutely nothing and she ignored all of the warnings. According to the defense, they're stating that's not what happened. She is not the only person that was responsible for keeping the children safe. The teacher herself knew that he possibly could have a gun. She didn't separate him from the kids. She allowed him to go to recess, allowed him to hang out with other kids, did not send him to the front office where he also could have sat there by himself. Says she kept him there with the other kids. He did end up shooting her. Everybody is responsible in this. Let's go into the witness. Now, the first witness is the first grade teacher, the victim, Abigail Zwarner, who, by the way, won a lawsuit against Dr. Parker because, well, in the lawsuit, they stated that she was in fact negligent. She won $10 million. Now, she states that prior to January 6th, which is when this incident happened, a few days before, the little 6-year-old boy actually took her cell phone from her desk and broke it. She immediately told the administration. She said that she doesn't know what happened, if he was held accountable or not. All she knows is that the next day he wasn't there, but he came back on January 6th. And on January 6th, that's when this all went down. According to her, she was told in the cafeteria by another teacher that the students had come forward and said the little boy stated that he was going to hurt them, blow them up, etc. She goes to the security officer that's in the cafeteria, tells him what's going on. And what's interesting is that she states that the 6-year-old is staring at the security officer, walking towards the security officer, looking at him in his eye, not moving his face, nothing, as if kind of daring the security officer. She then states that she goes to the administration to let them know what's transpiring, the fact that they think that he has a gun. Nothing was done. I guess she nodded, etc., and called it a day. Now, the next thing that happens is that she's in the classroom and she is shot by the first grader. She shares that she left the classroom as much as she could. She ends up collapsing. That's all that she remembers. Now, what's interesting about all of this is that the little boy had a loaded 9mm gun. He fired at her, narrowly missing her heart. She was hospitalized for nearly 2 weeks and underwent 6 surgeries, still has limited use of her left hand. Now, the next witness, actually the defense team asked her specifically, what did she do to prevent this? She said, I told administration. And he said, couldn't you have removed them? Couldn't you have done anything? And she said, in hindsight, possibly could have. I did not do that. Now, the next witness is Amy Kovac. She is a reading specialist. I didn't even know this existed, but apparently there's this thing called a modified schedule where the child, instead of attending all day, he attends certain hours of the day, sometimes according to learning abilities, sometimes according to behavior. Amy Kovac shares that the child had a modified schedule, so the bus would drop him off at 9:20. A counselor had to walk him to the cafeteria, had him eat. He'd go to his special ed class, and from there, Amy Kovac, who is the reading specialist, would then talk to him. He had about 15 minutes of reading. She asked him about that particular day. She shares that he was really agitated. It was kind of a little bit different mood than normal. When she's walking by the classroom, because then he goes to her classroom, she shares that 2 students kind of called her. You could tell that they were very fearful. They wanted to whisper something to her. When they went to her, they said that he had a gun in the backpack. At that point, they were concerned that he was going to hurt them. She immediately goes to the vice principal here and tells her, these 2 students told me this. I think he has a gun in his backpack. I'm going to search the gun. And she was like, search the backpack. She searches the backpack. She doesn't find anything. At this point, the child ends up going to recess. And apparently he was wearing an oversized jacket. She goes back to her and allegedly apparently tells her, hey, we think he has it in his pocket. Is told, the mom is on the way. We're calling the mom, etc. She then shares that all of a sudden, that is when later on she hears like a shot. She runs to the classroom, sees her to the left collapsed, and then goes to the child. She said that she knew he had used his left hand because he was left-handed, and she wanted to make sure not to touch his hand because of gunpowder. She immediately grabbed him by his other arm. He kind of cussed her out, spit at her. She sat him on the lap and held him. And she said that at the time the kids are screaming, trying to leave the room. She immediately grabs him, holds him down in her lap, calls 911, tells them what's happening. The child then punches her and it hits her. Mind you, he's 6. I don't even know what I would have done to that child. You see, there's reasons why I don't work in a school. At this point, the police finally arrived. She said she felt like it took forever for them to arrive. When they arrived, she literally just gives them the kid and leaves. The next witness is Deputy Blythe. This is crazy because Deputy Blythe actually shares that they arrive thinking there's an active school shooter. So they arrive to the school, and guess what? Now, one soul is waiting for them at the door. The speaker doesn't even seem to be working. They can't get anybody on the other side to answer them. They can't get anybody to open the door. Again, they're thinking it's an active shooter. They're banging the windows, banging the doors, screaming, trying to get people to open, looking in the windows. At that point, the janitorial staff thankfully came, allowed them to come in and help the teacher. Now, the next witness is the principal, and the principal is really just sharing that at the time they did have kind of an emergency process that everybody was supposed to follow. And they ask her, do you have this in place? She goes, yes, everybody is supposed to have it in place. They asked her if she knew about the child. She said, yes, JT. She remembers having an incident with him just like a few days before because he had broken the teacher's cell phone. She had to call them. The mom had to come to the school, etc. So she knew of him. She knew that there were incidents. She also shared that the assistant principal and the principal job are in partnership. They're together. And that, yes, teachers are supposed to come to the administration. And they asked her, did you know about this? No, no one told her. The defense team asked her, if the teachers felt that she was not responding, what would you have expected? Them to come to me and to let me know what's happening. I had no idea what was transpiring. No one let me know that no one was responding. No moment did they involve her, did they engage her at all until it was too late. She also shares the fact that the teachers, the defense asked her, could the teachers take them to administration? What is the norm? He said they could have removed them to the class so that he no longer was a threat to the class. They could have sat him in the front office where the principal was at. All of that could have happened. None of that transpired. After that, they went to lunch. And the next video, I'll go over the rest of day 1. What are your thoughts on this? Do you feel that she is at fault? Do you feel the teachers could have done something better? If you're asking where the heck is the mama's in jail. She took a plea deal for 4 years, which is nothing when this woman is facing almost 30 years in prison. Talk to you soon.